Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Tuesday, December 17th, and it's about 12:20 in the afternoon. Today's video, I'm kind of gonna just be giving everybody an update as far as whoever you are, depending on how much of my story you have watched. If you're someone who has started from the beginning and you're currently caught all the way up to this current video, you've watched them all, and you're wondering what direction we're going, I'm also kind of in that predicament myself. I don't know what direction I'm heading. I have an idea of what direction I want to go and what I need to go, but with everything I have going on now here in the present, as of it's been 5.5 months now that I've been inside the van, and I still have no answers on anything. I don't know what's going on. All the things that I believe should have happened, things that should have happened months ago, when I first got the van, I thought certain individuals would have been held accountable by now, would have been taken into custody, locked up in prison by now. But none of it's happened, and as of like the past 3 months, everything's just perpetually just been getting weirder and stranger and more difficult, because the longer I'm in this van, it's not easy for me, and it's especially not easy for my dog, because now that we are in winter hours, it's the middle of December right now, and the shortest day of the year is next week or something. So right now I'm looking at like 14 and a half hours of darkness every day. For every 24 hours, there's only about 9.5 to 10 hours of daylight and 14 hours of when it's dark. Meaning, because I'm in this tiny van and I'm kind of in a tight financial situation and I have no answers for anything going on around me, I have nobody that I can trust in the context of anybody in my proximity. There's nobody, I don't know who I can trust. I don't know who's good. I don't know who's hostile. And I don't know who's in the middle, as far as people that just have no idea about anything. They're just living their lives, have no idea about anything that I got going on, and none of this messed up stuff that's really going on in the background. There's a lot of people that just have no idea. I don't know who's connected to me on the good side that knows everything. I don't know who's on the bad side, and I don't know who's in the middle, right? And this has been going on for 5.5 months since I've been in the van. Where when I first got in the van, I thought things were going down then, and I thought everything, as far as this situation I'm in, this really messed up situation that I'm in, I thought things were going to be resolved back in July and August. When I first got in the van and took off and left Oregon, I had no idea that that I would be looking at here. Say we're back in July and I'm first taking off in the van and I'm leaving Oregon, and I'm thinking things are going to get resolved in a relatively short time frame, within a few weeks or a month. I had no idea, Brandon, you're going to be still in your van in the middle of December, and you're still not going to have any answers. That would have not even been I would have been like, really, that's what I'm dealing with? I'm just getting started on this big long thing, and nothing's going to change for me. It's only going to get worse from here on. In the context of just everything getting really fucking weird. Like, if I would have known back then, this is where I'd be at now, man, it would be a very difficult thing for me to accept. And it's already difficult for me to just accept things for what they are now, in the context of all these bad individuals out there who have, not only have they destroyed my life over these past 6-7 years, You know, they've done some really bad stuff over all this time span, and just to try and, again, I've already said it over and over. They've not only have they destroyed my life, but they've tried murdering me. They've tried poisoning me. They've they've entrapped me by setting me up to get me arrested, therefore incarcerated slash institutionalized within the system, which means they got a felony record put on my life, which means even though I did navigate my way around my incarceration, you know, I only served 1 year inside, and then I was put on 1 year of 1 year of parole. I was on parole for a year. So there's so much that has happened, and there's so many people involved with all of this. People who know who I am, people who know the truth as far as the things that I don't know the truth about, people that are aware of things that I'm not aware of, all this stuff that's been happening in the background. I mean, just imagine, put yourself in my shoes and imagine you're me. Well, I have my perspective on what everything that's happened. I have my perspective on all of it. But then there's all of these people around me who are aware of me, and they're aware of all these different players. And all of these people, they know things that I have no awareness of, because all of this stuff is happening. Remember, you're in my position. All of these people out there, none of them are talking to me, which means whatever's going on out there, it's all happening outside of my perspective. It's happening outside of my field of vision. It's happening outside of my awareness. So all of these conversations, backroom meetings, conference calls, everything that is happening in the background, whether it's in law enforcement, military, corporate stuff, medical fields, I don't know, everybody who is aware of me, and they all know who I am as far as everywhere I've been in this path that I've been on for all these years. They're, you know, including my incarceration, and then everything that I've been up to since my release. You know, I was released in 2020, and here we are going into 2025. So they've had eyes on me for all of these years, just watching me, observing me, watching me go up and down, and all the things that have been happening around me, and everybody's having all these conversations about me and with knowledge about all this stuff happening, and I know nothing. Nobody's come forward to tell me nothing. But I still have had my experiences where I have caught certain people trying to do me dirty, and I've also gone through this very difficult path, you know, the incarceration and all the psychological damage that was done to me, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the separation from my dog. I got separated from my dog for 15 months. That was very heartbreaking when I got separated from my dog. When I first got put in handcuffs and hauled off to jail, and then, you know, put through that whole thing where I didn't even get sentenced. I didn't even get my sentencing until my 9th month. It was like my 8th or 9th month of being locked up. I didn't even have my sentencing until then. I went 8 or 9 months just in this weird limbo where I wasn't given any fair trial. I wasn't given a jury trial or any of this stuff, right? It was just all this background. There's all these people involved in all these backroom conversations, backroom meetings and conferences and everything. Everybody trying to figure out what they're going to do with me, coming up with different strategies to try and manipulate my brain and get me to change directions or change my mind or get me to doubt myself, or all of this combination. You know, all of this happening against me, and then whenever people do come forward, they're not even being honest with me. They're just outright lying to my face, making stuff up, writing false reports, therefore committing perjury. You know, I believe that's the correct definition of perjury, is especially if it's within the federal or within the government context, where you write a report and you put false information in the report and then you sign your name and submit it as if it's the truth. I believe that's perjury. So I had people committing perjury against me while I was locked up to illustrate me as being the bad person. And this, you know, so once I got released, I've had all these false reports filed against me. So they're still out there. So anybody who pulls up these files, they will read this stuff, and whether they know who I am or they don't, all of those false reports will twist their mind in different ways to illustrate me as a crazy person or a dangerous person or whatever. And so this stuff follows me wherever I go, and they also got a felony attached to my name, so that just limits my ability to even exist in this world. I'm not saying it makes it impossible, I'm just saying it limits the things that I am able to do. You know, it just cuts down things that are available to me, and then also people treat me different because of, if they don't know me but they go do a background search and they find out about my history, well, automatically they're going to assume me as a dangerous, scary person, even though they don't know me. So, you know, and it's all based off these lies and stuff. So I have all this on my plate right now. It's in the background, you know, but it's still at play. These are variables that are at play, right? So with all of these things that I'm sharing, and my original, how I originally started this video with anybody who's caught up with my videos and you're wondering what direction we're going. Remember, if you've watched them all, and if you remember those videos, the Devil's House Part 1, the Devil's House Part 2, and those two videos before those ones where I described how I found DMT and why I went to Las Vegas to begin with, and then I made that episode where I explained what my first DMT experience was like. What my experience was like, where I explained, I shared with you, I told you I left this world and went somewhere else, right? And so I explained that, and so all between those 4 videos, there was a lot of really heavy information within that, a lot of stuff that you may have never even heard of before. You may have never heard any of these stories that I've shared in the past. I've talked about these things in the past, but you as the viewer may have never heard any of this stuff. So it's something that's like, wow, Brandon, you went through this? Like, yeah, I did. And that's just the beginning. So what I'm saying is there is a huge chunk of the story that I haven't even touched yet, okay? And so this video I'm making right now, I'll pause the camera here in a moment, but I'm going to be using this, my dry erase board again, and I'm just going to be kind of elaborating where we're currently at, the direction I want to go, and the barriers that are currently in my way preventing me from getting there, which therefore is preventing any of you from learning all of this information that I want to share with you, if that makes sense. Okay, so there's a whole lot of stuff I'm going to be talking about while using the board to kind of give you a visual, just give you a visual, let you know what you're dealing with and what I'm dealing with and how we can proceed forward in order, because again, my goal right now, my goals is to help you break free. If you've already broke free, good for you, but if you're currently in the process of waking up to what this world is, and you're currently in the process of trying to figure things out, and you're on your path to towards breaking free, you're somewhere in this little process, right? Well, understand, I've already broke free, and I already know how to leave. Like, I already know how to get out of this place. I've already found my way, and me being here, you, in the context of you watching me speak on camera, where I'm sharing this stuff with you, my purpose of existence is to try and help you break free so you can go home. If you remember who you are as a spirit, who you are within your body, within your avatar, you, the spirit, when you were born into this world, you were brainwashed, indoctrinated, all kinds of programmed, all kinds of things that twisted your mind and altered your version of reality to make you perceive the world something that it's not, and to also make you forget about where you came from. So, before you were born, you were somewhere else, in a different place, not here on Earth, maybe, right? And you were a spirit. And then at some point in time, a man and a woman, they had sex, right? And then the woman got pregnant, and all of a sudden you have this fetus growing inside the woman. And then at some point during the fetus's development, You know, it might be right around the time of conception. It might be sometime after 6 months, you know, sometimes 6 months later after the initial conception. But I'm saying at some point, your soul, you get put into that body, right? And so at some point, when you're born into this world, you are now in this world and your spirit is inside your avatar, which means you came from somewhere else, right? You came from somewhere else. And so you're here now, obviously, if you're watching this video, you're here now. And whether or not you've contemplated any of this stuff, ask the question where you came from before you were born and where you go after you die. Well, these are things I'm going to be trying to help you, try to help explain to you so you're aware of it, and then to help you navigate it in the best way possible. You know, help you find your way home, because at some point, there's one promise in life that you can count on. I mean, out of everything that you know in this world, there's one thing you can 100% count on, and that is the fact that you are going to die someday. So every living thing that comes into this world and it's alive, it will eventually die. That's the one fact, promise of life that you can count on. Which means at some point, you as the viewer, you're going to have to, I don't know if you just don't even think about it, or if you do think about it, or if you think about it a lot, but at some point, you're going to have to accept the fact that you are going to die. You're not invincible. And then you should really start thinking about who you are on the inside, and then what exists after death. Where are you going to go after death? And then once you do die, have you lived your life in a good way, or in a way that you're not going to be ashamed of? So when the day does come, when you do die, whoever you encounter, or whatever you encounter when you cross over, whether it's some type of spirits or Heavenly Father himself, or something that you had no idea existed, but you're there, and that thing is confronting you, and that thing knows everything about you. It knows everything you did in this life. There's this magical little book called the Book of Life, and your name, all they gotta do is look up your name, and then all of a sudden they got a whole stack, just pages upon pages of your entire life, and they can go through the entire thing instantaneously, and they know exactly who you are, what you did. And are you going to be ashamed of the life you lived, or did you do everything you could to live the best life that you could? It's okay if you made mistakes, but at some point you had this aha moment where you realize everything's a lesson and a test. Or yeah, you might not have been, once you weren't aware of the test in the past. So all these things that you went through in the past, where you made mistakes, or you have regrets, or you had bad things happen, and you wish it hadn't. You wish you would have done something different. Well, you weren't aware you were being tested, and then there was a period of time where it might have taken you off path, where it made you depressed or sad because you had something that was really important to you, or people in your life that you really cared about, and all of a sudden you lost all of them. But at some point later down the road, later in your life, you learn that everything's a test and everything's a lesson. And once you come to terms that whatever happened back then, you look at it as a lesson. Maybe you did something bad, or somebody did something bad to you, and you walked away, or whatever. But you look at it as a lesson, and that helps you stop making those choices in the future. And then at some point, you're no longer doing these things that you had done in the past, and you might not even realize it, but you're doing, as you're conscious, you're maturing as a spirit, and you're growing, and your frequency is going up. So long as you are doing better things than if you're comparing who you are now compared to who you were in the past. Some people, if you believe in God and Jesus now, you might be doing pretty good. But in the past, in your teenage years or your early 20s or something, like me, for example, God was not even in the equation. Heavenly Father, Jesus, the Holy Spirit wasn't even in the equation. I didn't even acknowledge any of it. I was essentially like an atheist or agnostic. But it's and I made a lot of mistakes and stuff back then, stuff that I would never do now. And when here today, when I'm looking at my past, I'm not the same person. I mean, I'm still me, but how I'm living my life now is completely different than how I was living my life back then. And that's something you can take, and you can apply this to your own life, where you're looking at where you're at now and compared to where you were at in the past, And are you going up or are you going down? Are you becoming better and better, or are you doing more messed up stuff? My clock's about to ring, so I'm going to change the camera and change position, all that, and we'll continue, okay? All right. Now getting started, I'm gonna start off drawing a timeline. So like a timeline of this story that I've been telling. So if you're somebody who's watched, episode 1, Welcome to the Rabbit Hole, you're someone who's gone through all of my videos, which is probably like 50 hours worth of video, which is a lot. And if you're someone who has done that, good for you. Good respect for you, because that's a big time commitment, which means if you have committed that time, you're probably eager to see my next videos. If you're somebody that's watched all of them, you've committed the time, and now you want to know where we're going next, right? So this is me trying to let you know where we're at. Okay. So to begin with, we're just going to do a timeline. Okay. Here's the timeline. So if you think about the very beginning, as far as episode 1, Welcome to the Rabbit Hole, the story began at the end of 2013, as far as when I quit Costco. So 2013, right? Right here, quit Costco. Okay, and then we're going into 2025 now, okay? So today's, December 18th. So December 18th, we got a couple weeks left before we're at 2025. So we're just going to put 2025 right here, okay? So if you just want to, do it by year, so you got what, 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So, I'm going to say 2014, 2015, 2016, oops, I don't know why I keep doing that, 2017, 20, Alright, so if you think about my entire story that I have shared so far, from episode 1, Welcome to the Rabbit Hole, all the way up into those videos, The Devil's House, Part 1 and 2. So if you get on my YouTube channel and you look at all the videos that I've shared in chronological order, from newest to oldest, and you go all the way down to Welcome to the Rabbit Hole, episode 1, and then you scroll all the way up to The Devil's House, Part 1 and 2. I have so far as what I have shared within this giant story, I have only covered, hold on, oh, something fell. I have only covered about this to here, to here, to here. So once Welcome to the Devil's House, that was in the time span of March 2018. So we've only, as far as everything I've shared with you, we've only covered this much so far, right? So that much so far. And then beyond all of that, everything that I've shared with you as far as what has been happening in the current, what I got going on presently, where a lot of my most recent videos I've been talking about things that have been going on around me ever since I got in my van. I've explained why I got my travel van. I explained, my dog getting drugged and snatched out of the house, and then I got my dog back, and I caught my father, right? And then I ended up finding the van and then leaving Oregon entirely. Well, all of that, everything that I've been sharing with you as far as the most current stuff, that's only been like this much, just this little portion right here in 2024. Which means, You know, just think about the total number of hours. Think about all the videos I have on my YouTube channel, and think about the total amount of content that is available for you as the viewer to watch, which equals around 50 hours of viewing material. That has cost me 8,000 hours of my own time to get that to you. And all 8,000 hours has only, you know, you've only got this, and you've only got that, and then you've only got little fragments. You know, I've talked about things that have happened as far as like when I got arrested and a few other things, but you're only just getting like little puzzle pieces here, little puzzle piece there, some puzzle pieces in this time span, and that's about it. But overall, once we made it, you know, when we backtracked to, what was that, August, just this past August 2024, when I shared the videos about how I found DMT, what my DMT experience was like, as well as my reasons for going to Las Vegas. And then I started talking about Dan. You know, I started introducing Dan, and I made those videos, The Devil's House. Okay, so we left off like right here. That's where we left off, is about right here. And then the next thing you know, all I'm doing is pretty much talking about this. So pretty much the past few months, I've just been focused on this, letting you guys know what I got going on right now. Which means for you as the viewer, you are missing all of this. This is where the real meat and bones is. This is where the real deep information is, as far as how my life went in the direction that it did, and how everything happened in the manner that it did, and what my perspective was through all of this, as far as everything I can remember, and how I was perceiving things as all of this stuff was happening, right? So all of this, hold on, I'll wait for him. So all of this, whoever you are as a viewer, you know, whether you're in law enforcement or military, or you're somebody who's not in either of those occupations, and you're just somebody who happened to find out about me, and you've happened to find out about my YouTube channel, and for some reason you watched all my videos. Cool, good job, awesome, I'm happy to have you here. You might also be somebody that we used to be friends or acquaintances a long time ago. Could have been high school, could have been college, could have been co-workers back when I worked at Costco. You could be anybody that we've personally known each other. I don't know you as the viewer, but I'm just saying, you got whoever you are as the viewer, and what you currently are aware of as far as my story. I mean, I've given you all of this, right? And I've given you all of this. And depending on how long you've known me, whatever your perception of me is, and whatever you think you know about why I was arrested and everything that happened around the time of my arrest, and you're aware of what happened during my incarceration, I don't know. You might know stuff, but you also might know nothing. Which means if you do know nothing, and I'm speaking to you as if you don't know, or maybe you just know a little bit, and you're curious and you want to know, well, there's all of this that I want to share with you, but it's very, very, very time consuming. If you think about how much time this took, well, a lot of the time that took, that was when I was writing. You know, the first 5 episodes, all I did was write. I wasn't speaking. So that took a lot of time. I could do this, share all of this entirely by speaking, which would entirely reduce those, you know, cut the thousands of hours down to hundreds of hours rather than thousands of hours. Okay? But I'm saying, if you're somebody who wants to know, like you want to know what happened here, right? You got hold on, let me start listing out some stuff. So here in 2018, you have everything that happened in Las Vegas. Everything in Las Vegas that happened in Las Vegas. In Vegas. DMT, which includes DMT, mushrooms, you know. So that alone is a huge story. I could talk for hours and hours and hours strictly just telling you about what went down in between March and April of 2018, right? So that's a big thing right there. Then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that happened in 2018. And then once you get to the beginning of 2019, you got you got the individual that ended up, the one who is responsible for me getting arrested. And so at the beginning of 2019, I went to California. I'll just say California. California. Some crazy shit. Crazy things happened when I went down there, okay? So that was in early 2019. And then you got a little bit later, you got, Dan. Dan comes back into the equation. I meet back up with Dan, I originally met up with him in March 2018. Well, it wasn't until late February, early March of 2019 when we crossed paths again, okay? And then you get to about September of 2019, which is when I was arrested. Arrested, right? Arrested, incarcerated. Okay? So from September 2019 until September 2020, I'm just going to draw this big black square. That indicates my entire time frame locked up. Locked up. Okay. This was probably one of the most difficult periods of my life that I have ever been through, which includes hitting rock bottom and contemplating my own suicide for probably about, I think from February 2019 until the end of until September, all the way until September 2019, I was contemplating my own suicide and how I would do it. But I never went through, I never tried. And a big part of that was like, I didn't want to try. Even though I was thinking about it and how I could do it, I was refusing to go forward with any of that because I didn't want, all the bad people that put me in this situation and all the bad people that had done all this stuff to me to begin with. I have known what they've been trying to do. They've been trying to get me locked up forever, if they can do it, or get me sent to a mental hospital, if they can do it, or get me to try or even succeed at committing suicide, if they could do it, or try and provoke me to commit an act of violence, and then, I get killed out of it, if they could do it. So there's these really sadistic, messed up stuff that they've been trying to do. And when I did hit rock bottom and all those suicidal thoughts started flooding my brain, one of the biggest things that, where I didn't proceed forward or I didn't even attempt to try to kill myself, not once. And a big part of that was, well, that would mean they win. That would mean they get exactly that. They defeat me. They broke my mind. They broke my spirit, and then they got me into one of these traps, meaning in a context where if they got me in one of these traps, these are the kind of traps that you can't escape from. And, somehow I did navigate my way around all that. And then looking forward, I got released in September 2020. So then right around Christmas, I returned back to Oregon. So right before 2021, returned back to Oregon. Returned to Oregon. Oregon, right? And so when I returned back to Oregon, I moved, my mom and dad took me in. They allowed me to move in at their house. And I just, they had a spare bedroom, and so I essentially took their spare bedroom. And ever since 2021, 2021 all the way until April, June 2024, living with my parents. Living with parents. And there's a whole lot of stuff. I mean, like when I got released from Humboldt County, when I got released from my 1 year incarceration, and then I was put on 1 year of parole.
When I was released, I had $0 in my bank account. I had $0. I had no money. I had nothing. If you think about your life, if you just put yourself in my shoes and imagine your life where you're essentially put back to square one, where you have no money, you have no friends, you have nobody to talk to with exception to your mom and dad, and you have no contacts, nothing. You have no prospects, absolutely nothing. You have $0, and once you leave jail, you're expected to climb your way out of the hole that you're in. You're expected to get your mind together. You know, even though this entire experience was very fucking traumatic and I experienced a lot of really messed up stuff, as soon as I get released, I'm expected to just like get on the horse and just get a job and pretend like it never happened. But considering all this stuff did happen, and the betrayal and heartbreak and all the lies, all of it combined, I had like complex PTSD. Major fucking PTSD. I could hardly even function. And then I have people telling me I have to do this, I have to do that, and I didn't even care, man. Even when I got released from when I got released from my incarceration, I spent probably another 6 months contemplating my own suicide. I couldn't get it out of my brain, even though I wouldn't do it, even though I had no intentions of doing it. Just those thoughts would not leave my head. And some of that, now that we're here in getting close to 2025, and I'm aware of a lot of stuff now that I wasn't aware of back then, a lot of those suicidal thoughts that was hitting my brain, a lot of those were spiritual attacks. A lot of that stuff wasn't even my own thoughts. It was some other demonic energy flooding my mind. You know, this external negative energy that was flooding my mind, making me think about killing myself. And I was always in this state of like, it's like this thing where if you're not aware of yourself, you're not aware of your thoughts. Well, when you start having these dark energy, demonic thoughts come into your mind and you associate that as your own thought and you don't get your thoughts in check, well, that stuff can fester. Those thoughts can fester and they can consume your mind, and then the next thing you know, you're carrying out these thoughts rather than just thinking them. Well, I'm aware of all this stuff, so I was always fighting back this, you know, even though I was thinking about it, I had the capacity and, you know, the willpower to refrain from actually doing it, even though I got close a couple times, still wouldn't do it because I understand this is all some very deep, dark, sadistic, messed up stuff. This as far as dark energy, witchcraft, sorcery, just this really bad energy versus good energy. And I know who I am and I know why I've been going through this stuff. But for you as the viewer, I'm saying, if you want to know about everything that happened, you want to know all of this, you got to understand for me to speak on camera, for me to get on camera and to tell the story, you're looking at probably another 40 to 50 hours worth of video that I will have to record. I will have to sit on this bed or find a place to do my recordings. But essentially, in order for you, the viewer, to learn any of this stuff through me and not from some other person who wrote some bogus report, you want to hear it out of my mouth, from my perspective about what happened. That's going to require me to sit down and speak for probably 40 to 50 hours. It could be even longer. It might be way longer than 40 or 50 hours, but that's just an estimate. And then you think about, well, for however much time I do speak, I'm going to have to review all of that. I will have to watch all of it. So say I'm just saying, for example, I speak for 40 hours. Well, that's 80 hours to start because I'm going to have to review all of it. So there's 80 hours. Then I'm going to have to assemble all of it through my video editing program. So that's probably going to be another hour for each video. So you're looking at another 120 hours, that's 120 hours total. And then you think about how much time it's going to take me to upload these videos. So, maybe an hour for each video, maybe half an hour, I don't know. So you're looking at maybe 160 hours to 200 hours or more just to get this to you. And the fact that I have done all of this, thousands of hours, and with exception up until just a month ago, I received my first $1,000 from somebody from PayPal, from somebody who found my YouTube videos, the game part 1, 2, 3, and 4. I had that individual who pitched out $1,000, and then my mom pitched out $1,000. I talked about that. With exception to those, hold on. So with exception to that individual who gave me that $1,000 and my mom, with exception to two people, all of the work that I have given out, I have not received any form of compensation or donations or contributions. Anybody, with exception to 2 people, nobody has stepped forward to help me with this giant workload. I've been doing all of it so far by myself. All of it. Everything on my YouTube channel, I've been doing it all by myself. Okay? And that is very exhausting. You have no idea how tired I am of speaking. I'm very exhausted of speaking. I'm very exhausted of trying to explain things to anybody. I'm tired of explaining myself. But again, I understand the situation. Again, I have broken free from this reality, and I know what's beyond this realm, and I know how to get there. And I've already passed my tests and thing in the context of raising my frequency, finding Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, doing all these things. I've done all that, and I have found my way home. But now I'm back down here to try and share what I know with you, the viewer, who, even though I don't know who you are because nobody's communicated with me, but whoever you are, I'm sharing it with you so far essentially for free. Everything I've been sharing is essentially for free, and all I've been asking for is some donations to help me feed myself and pay for fuel for my vehicle and feed my dog, to help pay for my daily expenses and stuff. My expenses are not that high compared to many people out there. I don't have that many expenses, but I'm just saying, I've given all of this to you so far for free, and I've only made $2,000 just right here. I've been working on this project for 2 years, and it hasn't been up until just a month ago where I made my first little bit of money from all the work that I've done. And that right back then, I was pretty dire. I was down to $150, and I had no idea when I was going to get, that was the whole thing a month ago, and you watch those videos if you have, right? But I'm saying, if you're somebody and you want to watch, you want me to invest my time to start telling you about all this stuff, I'm saying I'm not going to do it until I start seeing some form of support, people that are stepping forward to contribute towards me being able to move forward in a productive way. Okay? Right now, I only have enough money to last me 4 or 5 weeks. In 4 or 5 weeks' time, I will be flat broke again, just like I was a month ago. Okay? So it's been a month, and now I have enough money for the next month. But at some point, I'm going to be flat broke again, and I'm going to be back to the exact same situation as I was before. And the money that I do have, I only have a little bit of energy, and I don't know when it is that I'm going to get money again to begin with. I might not even get any more money. So I'm saying right now, in order for any of you, whoever you are, in order for you to get access to all of this, you need to step forward and help me. I have provided my PayPal link on my homepage of my YouTube channel and to some of my other videos. The link is out there and you can find it. And in order for me to be willing to share all this, in order to give out, I'm going to have to sacrifice another 160 to 200 hours probably of my time to create this material and get it delivered to you. I ain't going to do it for free. I ain't going to do it blindly, hoping that at some point somebody's going to pitch something in. I'm not going to get started on this and then at some point have to stop again because I'm out of money. And once, if I did get started on this, I intend to speak all the way until I'm done speaking about it. If it takes me a month or 2 months to do it, I'll do it. Right? I'll do it. It'll just be something I'll have to create a routine for myself and just speak a couple of hours, as much as I can each and every day until I'm eventually done. And then, I mean, that's going to be very challenging and taxing on my mind, because if you think about it, all of this stuff that has happened, it's a lot of information. And all of that information is stored in my conscious and subconscious mind. So in order for me to share this with you, I have to pull all of those memories. You know, it's 2025. You're going to be asking me to pull my memories from 2019, 2020, 2021, all of it, as best as I can in chronological order, to explain all of these crazy experiences and messed up things that I have experienced and encountered and listened to and witnessed and overheard, observed, all the whatever you want, whatever word you want to use to describe all of it. That's going to be very time consuming and mentally taxing, mentally draining on me, so to pull all of that information and articulate it slowly, and articulate and enunciate my words in a way that you can understand it. All of this information, it's in my brain. I don't even have to think about any of this. All of this stuff, I don't even have to think about it. I already know what's what. I don't have to remind myself. If the memories are all there, all my memories are in here. I have, not for everything, but there are many things I have what is essentially like a photographic memory. I can remember a lot of things in great detail, but that doesn't mean I remember everything in great detail. There's a lot of things that I don't even remember. But the things I do remember, it's in great detail, and I have a lot of stories and things I can share with you that would really paint the picture as far as not only who I am and how my life went the direction that it went and why everything happened the way it did. You would also learn a lot about your own life, your own existence, what this world is, and what is out there. You would learn all kinds of shit if I had the opportunity to share this, right? But this is a lot of stuff that's included within this is very dangerous information. Information that the bad guys, the bad people who did all of this stuff to me, that, got me locked up, and then they've tried murdering me, they've tried murdering my dog, kidnapping my dog, poisoning my dog. Those individuals out there, they don't want you to know about this section. They don't want you to know any of this. They only want you to read their reports. Whatever reports have been filed against me, whether it's police reports, medical reports as far as a mental health psychiatrist, whatever they have written, that's what they want you to rely on as far as your perspective of me. They do not want you to learn any of this. Okay? I am willing to share this, but in order to share this, you got to understand I will be very much putting my life in danger. My life is going to be in danger should I proceed forward with this story and continue from where I left off right here. If I continue from where I left off right here and start telling you about everything that happened in Las Vegas, and then eventually start telling you about everything that happened in California, and then tell you about why I did what I did that ultimately led to my arrest, and then I start telling you about everything that happened while I was locked up, and all the shit that happened while I was locked up, all the lies and bullshit. Imagine there's a lot of people out there who do not want you as the viewer to learn any of that information, which means once I start talking about this, well, I've told you that they've already made attempts on my life. They've already tried murdering me and my dog, and all of that's going to escalate. That's going to ramp up. So should I proceed forward, whoever you are, if you're my friend or supporter, and you're in the capacity of protecting me, I'm saying like if you're law enforcement or military, well, I'm going to need a lot of support. I'm going to need a lot of protection around me to make sure the bad guys don't get to me or my dog, right? That way they don't, because I'm going to need the space and the freedom to share this without any type of interference. I'm not going to anybody trying to murder me or kidnap me or steal my shit or whatever. That's all of me, my van, and my dog. We all got to be protected, okay? And then at the same time, the total amount of work that is required, whoever you are, understand that none of this is going to happen until I start seeing some financial support at a minimum. I've been calling for the arrest of these people. I've called for the arrest of my own father and whoever's directly connected with them, whoever it was that was involved with having my dog drugged and snatched out of the house and trying to entrap me and set me up and get me locked away. Whoever was part of that, that needs to get dealt with. I've asked for that, but things, there's a lot of variables at play, a lot of moving parts. You guys might not be ready for that yet. But I'm just saying, well, in order for you guys, if you guys are saying you're not ready to go after these key players, these key people who I have named, but you still want me to share my story, well, I need you guys to pitch out resources before I proceed forward. I need to have, because this is going to take me 2 or 3 months of my time to get this told, to get this story told, the rest of this story told, and I'm going to need the finances ahead of time, knowing, just that way I know I'm not doing it for nothing. I'm not willing to share this story and put my life on the line and further make my life difficult if I don't even have the finances to, I don't have the money, I don't have the resources to just in my bank account that I can confidently look at and say, okay, I have 3 or 4 months worth of money to just, it'll pay for all of my daily expenses. I continue living in a conservative way. I continue, I'm still in my van. I continue being conservative with my money and how I'm spending it and my food and all of that. And then once I have that money, I know, okay, I got 4 months paid for. I got 4 months, all of my expenses paid for. Now, all I got to do is essentially get at it. All I got to do is essentially just start creating a routine, find a place where I can go, and then every single day, whether it's 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, if I can do it, just start telling you guys about everything that happened. And then as I'm able to, I'll just start uploading videos. Some of the videos might be 60 minutes long, some of the videos might be 2 hours long. Either way, you're going to be getting this entire story, but the videos you're getting might be in different increments. Sometimes it might be an hour, sometimes it might be 2 hours, sometimes it might be 3 hours, which means whenever you do watch it, you're welcome to pause and stop watching at any time. All you got to do is remember where you stopped, and then when you're ready to continue, it's, if it's a 2-hour video and you got things that come up, you're 45 minutes in and you got things that come up, or you get tired, or you need to take a break or whatever, well, just remember what time you left off, and then at some point, the next time you sit down, you might watch the remaining 2 hours without even getting up. But either way, I'm going to keep getting videos out to you where at some point, so long as you watch all of them in chronological order, eventually you'll have this entire, you'll hear everything. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff you're not going to hear because I can only talk about so much. But you're going to have a very good idea about the things that have happened to me and the things that I've been through and the things I've learned, all of it. You'll learn about as much as I can articulate and remember and share with you. By the time I'm done, you'll have all of this, and then maybe at some point, if you're military or law enforcement, maybe at some point as I'm sharing this, you guys will things will connect for you guys, and I will give you the missing pieces that you've been looking for in order to give you guys what you need to go after these people who I've been talking about. That's what I'm saying. If you're somebody in these occupation as far as law enforcement or military, these are just general terms. You could be in any you could be in federal law enforcement, state law enforcement, or local law enforcement, whatever division or department or agency, doesn't matter. It's just a generic term, law enforcement. Maybe at some point, somewhere in this story, I will give you the missing pieces that you need for you guys to do what you need to do to get these people dealt with. Okay, but at the same time, I start sharing this stuff, this is where you guys might try and use things against me. It just depends what you guys do with it. Again, I'm putting myself in danger by sharing this. But, if you guys pitch out some money my way where all of a sudden I have, I'm saying if in order for me to get started on this to where I can confidently know that I can do this whole thing and I'm gonna need like $3,000, 3 to 5 thousand. If all of a sudden I got $3 to 5 thousand, I would wholeheartedly get started on this. And if it meant me staying in the van the entire time for another 2 months, I would get it done. As best as I could. I'm not saying, I don't know how long it'll take. It might take me longer than 2 months, but I would get started. But I'm saying none of this is going to happen until I get some type of financial help. Because right now I've only got enough money to make me another 4 to 5 weeks. And yeah, I'm going to make some videos, but it's not going to be this. The next few videos that I'm going to share, so long as I don't get any more money, the next few videos that I'm going to share isn't even going to be about my life, really. It's going to be about just what is life, what's after life, and what's after death, and then what's, I have things that I'm planning on talking about, but it has nothing to do with my stuff. And it's kind of just like trying to explain how to live life in the best way possible to yield the best results. You also, you earn, kind of teach you how to earn your ticket out to go home. That's what I want to share with you on how you can escape this place, how to leave this place. And also I want to share at some point what happens if you fuck off and do too many bad things. What happens if you fail all your tests and you do a whole bunch of bad stuff. At some point I want to make a video explaining what's under this world, as far as what realities or dimension or whatever exists under Earth, or this third dimensional reality, a place that some people call hell or Sheol. It has different names, but it's all the same place. It's where all the really bad, evil people go when they fuck off too much in this reality. I'm going to be explaining all this stuff, and that's going to be separate from my own story. And so I'm just letting you all know. Anybody who wants to know about this, well, whoever you are, just you know where my PayPal link is. You're welcome to contribute. I mean, everybody can pitch out a little bit. It doesn't just have to be one person who sends it all out, but whoever you are, you want to pitch out some money, cool, man. If you pitch out $50, $100, cool, and another person pitches out $100, cool. You got somebody who pitches out $500 or $1,000, cool. If you're somebody who is financially well off and you look at this as an investment opportunity because you want to know this, and you got money that's not necessarily important to you, and it will help me. Not only will it help me survive, but it will also open the door to enable you as the viewer to learn all this stuff. Well, if you got the money, pitch out a couple $1,000 or $5,000 if you got it. That'd be cool. And then I will use that money responsibly and conservatively, and then we'll all get to work on all of this. And then little by little, I will release videos as I'm going, so you can keep up on it. I'm not saying I'm gonna do all the recordings on this. I'm not saying I'm gonna do 40 hours of recording and not share it as I'm going. I'm not saying I'm gonna do all this and then just do this massive dump where I share like 40 hours of video simultaneously. No, I'll share videos as I'm going until I'm done, essentially. Until I'm done. And I'm just saying, I'm guessing that it'll take about 40 to 50 hours. It might take longer. Okay, so you guys get it, right? So I need your help. In order for me to help you, I need your help. It's a two-way street. I've already given you all of this. I've done a whole lot under my, paying out of my own pocket just to get all of this other material to you, just so you guys know the quality of material that I'm willing to provide. I have a whole bunch of stuff I want to share with you. And as I'm going, I'm getting better at speaking. I'm learning as I'm going. I'm getting better because when I'm watching my videos and I'm reviewing my videos, I am criticizing myself and critiquing myself and figuring out how to enhance the quality of my videos to make things easier for you. But again, it's a lot of information, and that's the whole point. It's a lot of information, and it's a time commitment. There's nothing I can share with you in a short span of time that's going to make everything click for you all at once. It's like I've said, I've I've had to start from the beginning, you know. That's the whole point of episode 1, Welcome to the Rabbit Hole. If you go back to episode 1 and start that video again and just watch the first 20 minutes, I literally explain, like, what's ahead. That this is going to be a very long video, and if you stick around at some point you might enjoy what I'm sharing. You might look forward to all these stories I have to share, because not only are they captivating, not only are my stories interesting. Yeah, my hope has been that, you know, the longer that you guys have been tuning in, that you find the story very interesting or captivating, you know, just something that you really like hearing about this stuff, because it helps you in different ways. You know, for whoever you are, everybody has been down a different path, have been through different things. You've had different life experiences, and everything that you know is completely different than what somebody else knows. And so I'm just trying to share the path that I've gone down, where some of the things that I have experienced, I might be empowering you, I might be helping you out of a bad situation that you might be in. I might be making you aware of things that you had no awareness of prior to listening to me speak. I may have shared things with you that you just, for whatever reason, you've never had anybody tell you this stuff before, or share it to, or you might have encountered something similar to what I've talked about, but you've never had somebody explain it in a way that I have. I'm not saying that I'm providing all of the answers. I'm just saying there might be something that, as far as my story, every once in a while there's something that I share that really hits home for you, something that really resonates with you, like a revelation or an aha moment, something that just really connects and just helps you in some way, where your perspective on life changes for the better, or you start going about your life in a better way. You're living your life in a better way than you were living your life. Maybe I'm pulling you out of the darkness. Maybe you've been down some very dark paths and have done some things that you wish that you've never done before, but all of a sudden I'm showing you this light that you didn't know existed, this light at the end of this very dark tunnel that you didn't even know existed, or you've been told that it doesn't exist. Whatever you want to call it. The point is, the more videos that I make, I'm trying to make it to where every time I got a new video go up, you get excited. You have no idea, you might not have any idea what I'm going to talk about, but every time you watch a video, you're like by the time the video's done, you're not disappointed. That's what I'm hoping for. But again, there are a lot of bad people out there, and a lot of the stuff that I'm sharing is stuff that they don't want me to talk about. So yeah, I'm going to have a lot of haters out there. I'm going to have people clicking the dislike button. I'm going to have people that are going to just totally go the opposite direction of what I'm trying to illustrate. People that are going to continue trying to bring me down and murder me and kill my dog or kidnap my dog and stuff. They're still out there. But if you're not one of them, right? You're not one of them, and you're using my story in a positive way to not only help yourself and break yourself free, but you're sharing the information with other people, your friends, your families, your acquaintances, your coworkers, whoever. You're spreading my story in order to help other people. Good for you. You're the ones that I'm really doing this for, is to help you guys break free so you can eventually go home, so you don't get trapped here. That's the whole point. And so I've wiped this board down. I feel like this is going to be the last clip that I do. I'm just going to do one more board, and that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I've said the things that I really need to say. And then the next video that I make will be something similar to what I described, as far as what is this life, and how, in a way that you can take the knowledge and apply it towards your own situation. That'll be on the next one. So right now there's just like one little thing, one last picture I'm gonna make for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to start off, and I'm just gonna say, this is
Wait, no, I gotta put me in a different area. I can't put me in the middle. That's silly. I don't like this dry erase board all that much. Anyways, so I'm gonna say I'm up here, stick figure, me, okay? And then I'm gonna say this is you. Okay? So, say I want to share something with you, right? I want to share. To share information with you. Okay? So I want to do that because, let's just say that I've learned things that other people might not necessarily know, or I've been exposed to things that other people might not have been exposed to. But the things that I have learned is information that will help you avoid these dangerous traps and obstacles, liars, con men, con women, these fake frauds. Essentially I'm trying to help you avoid catastrophe in your own life, to avoid misfortune in your own life, to try and just make you aware of these things out there that are trying to make themselves look good or appealing. They're trying to bait you in and pull you in and twist your mind and put thoughts in your head to make you do stuff for them or start working for them or doing tasks for them in exchange for money and stuff, right? So I've learned a whole bunch of stuff and I want to share it with you. Okay, but there's these other bad guys. There's these other people out here. We're just say bad guys. Right here, we're just saying bad guys right here. Bad guys. Right, we'll just circle them. These bad guys, they want to take advantage of you, right? They want to steal. They want to steal your shit. Right? They want to steal your stuff. They want to harvest your time and energy. Harvest your time and energy. But for some reason, at some point in time, they found me. And they tried recruiting me. Recruit. These guys are criminals. These guys are committing some very serious shit. These are people who are, they're, just think about the worst possible things you can imagine that are going on in this world. That's these guys. Okay? And then, back in 2018, 2019, these guys came into my life. I didn't know, I knew about all the bad stuff going on in the world, but I've never actually met anybody who's tied to it, anybody who's connected to it. Well, they came into my life. They tried pulling me in and tried to manipulate me and make me perceive them as friends, try to make me perceive them as good people. They tried baiting me and tempting me with different stuff, and all of it. They're essentially trying to recruit me and try to make me one of them, where I'm working with them, right? So they tried doing all of this. And so as they did all this, I learned about all of it and I became aware of certain things, right? Well, at some point, I separated and went over here. I got away from them, get away. Exclamation part. I'm talking to these guys, get away. So I run down here, right? And so I'm trying to, you guys, these guys over here, they're trying to steal your shit. They're doing all kinds of bad stuff to you. I'm trying to share this with you guys, right? I'm trying to share it to let you guys know that they're out there. That way, if you have families, if you have a husband or a wife or you have children, well, you got your children, you got little ones, right? You got your little ones. And then you got your wife, right? I'll give her some hair so She's got hair. She's got a skirt, you know. So you got your family. Your family. And I'm like, you guys, these guys are out there, and they're doing all kinds of bad stuff to not only steal your physical property, your personal property, they're also trying to steal your mind. They're trying to steal your mind and your soul. They're trying to put thoughts in your brain that aren't true. They're trying to twist your reality by giving you nonstop TV, nonstop sports, nonstop video games, nonstop music, nonstop movies and TV shows, and then nonstop propaganda through mainstream media and social media. They're doing all of those things to twist your mind and just to twist your perspective of reality. And sometimes it has, as far as stealing, it has nothing to do with taking your personal stuff. It has everything to do with stealing your mind, right? To steal your inner essence so that you entirely forget where you're at and what this reality is and what exists after death. You forget about all that, and then they paint a different reality for you. So the reality that you perceive is not real, even though you perceive it's real. When you're going about your day, the reality that you perceive is 100% real, but your thoughts, the things that you are perceiving about this world, where did those thoughts come from? Where did those ideas stuff come from? Who told you this stuff? Where did you learn it? Until you can step back and detach yourself from any type of emotional, get rid of your emotions and just step back and look at your own life and the things that you believe and why you believe it and why you're living the life that you're living. Why are you living that way? I'm not saying you're wrong or right. I'm not criticizing you because I don't know who you are. But I'm just saying, as a general question, why are you living your life the way that you're living? Why do you believe the things that you believe? And who told you those things? Did you arrive to these conclusions on your own? Or are you blindly believing somebody that told you something a long time ago and you have since then been going forward with that perception for all these years? Is that what you've been doing, or did you find out things for yourself and that's how you're operating? You figured it out for yourself and now you're operating accordingly. Until you can step back and start asking those bigger questions, these individuals have you ensnared. They have your mind trapped, ensnared in their illusions, in their false reality. And the whole purpose is to keep your mind under control, because if they have control of your mind, they can control your physical body. If they can control your mind and your perception of reality, they can tell you exactly how you need to be living your life, which means they will tell you you need to have a full-time job and you need to be working 40 hours per week. You need to be doing all of these things in order to exist within society's parameters, where everybody accepts each other because everybody's on the same program. Does that make sense? So these guys are all building this false reality, and they're making you their slaves to do all their biddings. And in exchange, they give you fake money, and at the same time, they tax the money that they've created out of thin air. They create the money out of thin air, and then they tax you on your labor, or what? They just tax you. So the money they give you, you give it right back because everything's super expensive. So they're just, again, harvesting your time and energy. And what is money? If you think about what is money and how do you get money? Well, money is a form of energy exchange. So in order for you to get $100, you have to go do some type of work, and you have to work X amount of hours. And while you're working X amount of hours, you are exerting your time and energy in exchange for that $100. So they create this stuff out of thin air, and then they give you all of these tasks and tell you that you need to do this task, or you have to work for this many hours in order to get this fake money. This fake money, and then everything out there that you're buying, they created it, and they inflated all the prices, and all you're getting is shit. Okay, so what happens when there's somebody like myself who's learned all this and found out about these guys, and they know who I am, and they tried pulling me in, but I refused them, and I walked away from them, and then I tried pointing them out to let everybody know who they are, and then I ran away, right, and then eventually I got arrested. But all the same, I'm still alive here today, and I'm still
saying the same thing as I was in 2018, 2019. You know, I'm trying to, if you're one of these guys down here, you're not one of them, and you're one of these, it's you, and you got a family, or you don't have a family, if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or you don't, and you're on your own, doesn't really matter. But you're down here and you're a good person, and you got nothing to do with this. And whether or not you're aware of Heavenly Father and Jesus and the devil and the fallen angels and anything in between, just understand, I have been trying, the giant story that I'm trying to share with you, it explains everything. My story explains everything, and everything I've been encountering over the past 5-6 months and longer than that. These individuals have been trying to cut off these lines of communication. They don't, this represents communication, a line of communication, and these individuals have been doing everything they can to cut off my communication, so I can't reach you, and you can't reach me, so we can't speak to each other. So you guys can't ask me questions, and then I can answer your questions to the best of my ability. They've been cutting all of it off, and they have been for a very long time. For 7 years, I've been going through this for a very long time, where everything that I have learned and experienced and all of it, all I've been trying to do is share with you guys, because I've become aware of these guys and have found out what they're doing to everybody. I've found out what they're doing to everybody across the world. It's not just a small local issue. It's everywhere. These guys, they're in the millions. There's millions of them. There's not just a few. As far as their total size of their giant club, as far as their minions, if you think about their ranking system, from their minions, their lowest ranking peons, all the way to the source, the head person. There's, as far as I'm aware, there's like millions of them. But not all of them are aware of everything. Some of them are completely unaware of of a lot of stuff, and they're only aware of certain small things. And the higher ranking you get, the more aware you are of stuff, the more information you get access to. You get access to classified stuff that's otherwise not accessible to the lower ranking people, because the lower ranking people, it's essentially a need to know basis, and most of them, they don't need to know. As far as the high ranking, the highest ranking people up there, they're just being used as cannon fodder, and as useful idiots to do the bidding of the people who are at the top. Okay, and I've been doing everything I can to let you guys know that this is all real, this all exists, and not only do you need to become aware of it and aware of these traps and all that, you need to protect yourself from them. You gotta protect yourself from them. You gotta know that they exist, and if they ever approach you, you just walk away, tell them no, thank you, go away. Not interested, whatever. And then once you become aware of this, everybody's got to start sharing this information with each other. Let everybody know what we're dealing with, because these individuals, they're also involved in the human trafficking, sex trafficking, and child trafficking rackets, and the pedophilia rackets and all that stuff. So you got to protect your family, you got to protect your children, you got to protect your wife and your daughters, and all of it. You got to protect it all. And you can't protect yourself if you don't know about it. If you don't know any of this exists, and you just perceive the world based off what they told you the world is. You perceive the world based off the illusions they've put over your eyes, and you're not aware of any of this other stuff. Well, that's where they get you. And remember, I'm trying to get you guys to wake up, see what's going on and understand. I'm trying to get through to you guys to break you free from this darkness that's consuming this earth. Just look around, just look at what's going on around this earth. Nobody trusts each other. All the wars that are happening everywhere, all the escalation of wars, the rumors of wars, all the famine, all this crazy weather, all these like hurricanes and floods and rain and snow. All of it, dude, just destroying our food supplies. And then after a certain period of time, once our food supply gets sabotaged, eventually people start starving. And once people start starving, then you start having rioting, and then you lose control, and everybody just starts killing each other. Once the food supply goes down, and then the power grid goes down, which means you can't buy anything if you're entirely relying on electronics and your debit card or your credit card or your phone to pay for your stuff, and you're not using cash. Well, at some point there's something that happens where all of these services and everything that it all just gets taken away from you. And then it's all orchestrated. These individuals are the ones who are doing it because they want everybody to, pretty much kill each other because it makes things easier for them, because they're they're trying to steal the world, and at some point they're just gonna start wiping out everybody that they don't like. And we're getting there. They're working on it, but I'm still alive, and I'm doing what I can to wake people up and try and get people on my side. I need everybody. I need friends. I need friends over here. To start building up my army. Supporters, friends, whatever you can do, from big to small, small to big, spreading the word, whatever you can do. All right. Well, that's going to be about it with the dry erase board on this video. But I'm just, in conclusion, with everything that I've shared, I've just put it all on the table for you guys. Whoever you are as a viewer, and you're somebody that wants to hear the remainder of my story because you're really interested to hear about all this stuff that's happened, and you want to hear, which includes DMT. If you're somebody that wants to hear about my DMT stories, some of the things I've experienced while on DMT, and anybody that wants to hear about magic mushrooms and my experiences with magic mushrooms, all of that's included within the story. I know I have met people in Wyoming. I crossed paths with a couple guys. They literally found me. They knew exactly who I was. They were younger guys. They were younger than I was. Younger than I am. They were probably in their late 20s. But these two guys approached me, and I guess they knew exactly who I was, but they were really shy about it. They weren't outright with it. But long story short, they were studying. They were involved with some type of research team that is involved with studying psychedelics and therapy dogs. We only talked for a short few minutes, but he told me, they're studying the effects of somebody who's on psilocybin magic mushrooms, and how those individuals interact with therapy dogs, a dog that is specifically your dog that is with you as an emotional support animal in some way. And these people, they were kind of just hinting at Malaki and I. We were apparently being studied. At least they didn't say that outright, but they're just letting me know that what their research is essentially an area that I have a lot of expertise in, as far as psychedelics and how I interact with psychedelics around my dog, and what my dog is like around me while I'm on psychedelics, and how we interact with each other. There are people out there, and there's, as far as research teams who are out there studying this type of stuff, and I've met people. I've met two people that are part of that, and so there's a whole lot of people out there who want to learn about these things that I have tapped into, as far as psychedelics, as far as DMT and magic mushrooms, and everything I've encountered while on these substances. And these people want to hear this stuff in order to get the information and the knowledge so they can use it for positive reasons. For anybody out there who is suffering from PTSD or complex PTSD, or people that have gone through or people who are depressed, people that have different forms of mental health, they're having some type of mental health problems. It can be anything, but magic mushrooms can help people break free from negative cycles, negative things, break free from the traumas and stuff that we've been through. But a lot of that, in order to accomplish this stuff, it has to be done in a very safe way. You have to know what you're doing in order to yield the benefits out of this stuff. And I have a lot of expertise in all this, and this is all stuff I want to talk about, because there's people out there who are studying this stuff, and they probably have a lot of questions. And so, in order to get access to all this information, remember, I'm saying it's a big workload ahead of me, and I'm not going to start until I start getting some support. So whoever you are, and whatever occupation you're into,
whatever field of research you're into, and you're tuned into me, and there's things you want to learn about me, and you're hearing my proposition. This is a proposition. This is me making an offer, telling you what I will give you in exchange for this. I will give you this in exchange for this, but I'm not willing to start this until you guys pitch out first. And you have all of the work that I have put out so far, so you know that I actually will do what I say I'm going to do, because I've already exerted all this time and effort to get this story as far as that we've gotten. As far as we've gotten, I've done everything out of my own pocket for the majority of it to get it delivered to you guys, so you know what you're working with. And I've elaborated what has not yet been shared, which is the real good part of the story. And so, I've done all this on my own expense, and now I'm saying, you guys want this? Well, you want this chunk of the story? I don't have it in me right now with the money I have and my living circumstances. I cannot do that for you unless I get supporters who decide to pitch out money first and foremost to get me started. That way I know for a fact I have 3 or 4 months paid for, as far as all of my expenses that will accrue, that I will, all the expenses I'll have added up over the next 3 or 4 months. I need, it'd be nice to have all that money now, between $3,000 and $5,000, and then I'll get to work. That's my offer. That's my proposition. So whoever you are, all you got to do is, if you want to see that happen, pitch out whatever you can. All you gotta do is find my PayPal, and it's right there. And then then I'll get started on it. So yeah, there's that. But pretty much until then, I'm just pretty much just gonna be doing what I have been doing. I'll just randomly put out videos here and there, but pretty much from this, I'm not talking about anything in the past, really. I mean, as of lately, I've just been talking about what's currently going on around me. And yeah, I could turn around and just spend another 2 or 3 hours talking about what's currently going on around me, but again, that's not stuff that's really going to help you as a viewer anyway. It's just pretty much random information. But yeah, so I think that's really all I have to share with this video. I feel like I've made my message clear. You know where I'm coming from, and you know what I'm offering in exchange. It's a two-way street. I'm done just giving for free. I've been doing it for too long, and with what's on my plate, in order for any of you who want to know what happened next or what's going to happen next, well, you guys got to start pitching out, because I can't do it all for free, man. I'm struggling as it is. It's my current situation is not fun. I'm not enjoying this at all. As far as being in the van for 5.5 months, it's becoming more of a hindrance and something that's a negative thing than a positive thing. Yes, it's a positive thing that I can drive. I have my freedom and I'm away from all these bad people. That's a positive thing. I'm away from all that toxicity, that toxic environment that I broke free from, and I have the freedom to go drive where I want to, right? But beyond that, considering it's dark 14.5 hours a day, Malaki, my dog, and I, we're in this van. We're in this van like 20, 21 hours a day. And it's almost like it almost feels like being in a dog kennel or being in jail. My jail cell, when I was locked up, my jail cell was bigger than the space in this van. The area that I have to maneuver around and walk around, it's smaller than the jail cell that I've had. So it gets a little claustrophobic after a while. And it's just not enjoyable. I need my own space and everything, but I can't do any of that with all of this bad stuff following me, and this bad stuff that's currently around me that, for whatever reason, these bad people are still walking free, and I don't get it. After all this time, I don't get it. So, yeah, I guess that's everything. I just hope somebody, whoever watches those videos, you guys, rather than just watching the video and just exiting out and not thinking about it, it'd be nice to actually get some support, because I do want to talk about all this stuff. I'm not going to do it for free. I'm done doing all of it for free. I don't have the energy for it, and the only way I will muster up the energy for it is if I know I have people full on supporting me. So there's that. Anyways, have a good day, a good afternoon, or evening, or good night, wherever you are, and I will catch you next time. So be safe, stay vigilant, and all that stuff. Oh, and then, at the same time, I would appreciate it if you share my channel and my videos with your friends and supporters, or your friends and family, your acquaintances, coworkers. Just pass on the word. I'm not expecting people to subscribe. I don't care if people subscribe. You guys can anonymously be watching my videos and subscribe to my channel. I don't care, or not subscribe to my channel. I don't care, but I'm just, if you're somebody who likes you like my videos and you like my channel and all that stuff, well, don't be shy about sharing it with your friends and family, because if you can get them to watch it, well, the next thing you know, if you got somebody that who has watched all of them, well, then next thing you guys have stuff to talk about. You guys have things to talk about because you're both on the same page. And then you're aware of what I've shared with you, so then technically, like, you guys are on the same page as me, even though I might not know you. And then everybody, we're all of us, we're just spreading the word amongst each other, even though we might not know everybody, we might not know who this message is getting to, but all over the world, this message can spread, and people, everybody can get really on the same page and start focusing on the source of our issues. It all starts with you, it's just like it started with me. I had to figure all this stuff out for myself, and once I figured it out, I've turned around and tried sharing it with you guys, so which means at some point you got to figure it out, and then once you do figure it out, it becomes your responsibility to turn around and start trying to help others figure it out. It's like paying it forward. If you've ever watched that movie, I forget the name of it. Might have been Pay It Forward. Pretty good movie. Anyways, have a good one.